that moves to this new town, and he's trying to convince people to close the beach, and that's most of the movie. And then it turns into them going to hunt the shark type thing, and it's so good, man. It's like I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I kind of had a bias against it for years just because it was like it was like the movie that everybody talks about, kind of thing, and like it was completely. I walked out just like a complete believer in Jaws as a great movie after that. Yeah, but I think there's lots of really. I mean, I got to see they did a lot of great re-releases here. They did 2001: Space Odyssey. I got to see the big screen. I saw The Shining on the big screen. Um, and they all hold up. They all held up really well. Seeing 2001 on an IMAX screen was pretty cool.
Are you roboting a little, or is that just me?
Not that I can
You're
tell,
roboting
but
a
I mean,
lot.
Me or Chris?
You.
No, like audio, dude. I'm not talking about the avatar.
No, unfortunately, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
You're coming
Chris
in
was
loud and clear.
roboting on me. I couldn't hear him clearly, but maybe it's my
hey,
connection.
do you know how to take like the to take like the whole VTuber thing? Do you know how to like to apply the VTuber thing to a podcast? Like, if you take an audio only thing, right? And then could you apply like the VTuber type thing over it, and then have the VTubers but they're speaking the audio type thing?
I don't know it that well yet. You're looking at the extent of my knowledge of this
Well,
stuff.
I don't know what program you're using or anything. I'm just asking because I had an idea.
Um, it's called VC Face.
VC Face, okay.
Yeah.
I just wondering if there's a program like that I feed audio into, and kind of customize like the avatar I want, and then have those
Yeah.
avatars like speak the audio for each, like, for because like I'd like to do this. There's a stream type thing I'm working on, but it'll be like it won't be live. It'll be like it'll be like a content type thing. But like the idea is like what we would do it, like we would kind of like record it in audio kind of as a podcast, and then we'd add like
Uh,
animated avatars for us, like that would like that we could, like, edit into the thing, and it'd be a lot easier because I don't know any animators. I don't know anybody can do any animation. I can't do it. So like I'm kind of stuck of like, I mean, we could do it in just with cameras and just with our faces. We could do it like that, but I think it would be more interesting to have like a fake set and stuff like that for it.
yeah.
I want it to look
That's
like a newscast. But we want to do this
that.
thing where it's like a clip show where it's kind of a recap of all the panel stream stuff from the week, so
Yeah.
that.
That's kind of what I'm kind of where the angle I was going, but it's very prototype stage at this point because, like I said, this little femboy model is the most masculine model they had available. So like the rest of them are like totally girly and stuff. So that's why I'm not excited about it yet. But um, first of all, you have to find a model. Good luck doing that because like you either make your own or you have to find a free one that's laying around, and this is one of the free ones. So
I mean,
um,
I probably have enough graphic art skills to make one, or at least to modify one to suit my needs, but I just don't know how to, like, where to start from with it. I gotta figure all that stuff out. It's an idea that came to me last night, so I have not gotten that far um to the thought process behind it yet, but um
A lot of the newer
yeah.
Samsung phones will, or the nicer version ones will do it. They got a program. I forget what it's called, like art virtual. What's it called? I
Well,
forget.
Mitchell, if you find the links for it, like, send them to me in the Discord. I would be
Yeah, I could look
happy
it up.
to.
It's on my phone right now. It might kick me out, but hold on.
Yeah, I've got like I just set up a new very very private Discord that's only for people who are gonna be working on these projects that I'm working on, and it's gonna, so if anybody that really wants to contribute to it, wants to, like, get it, because like what basically, like, the show we're looking at doing is like it's gonna be like kind of imagine like the Soup, right? You remember the Soup?
It's called AR Zone. Yeah, I remember. I know. I hear you. AR, artificial reality zone, I think, or augmented reality.
That's the name of the app. Okay, cool.
AR
But I
zone.
but I don't know if you remember that show, The Soup, that used to be on E channel.
Yeah, I remember that.
They would have like they basically would introduce kind of like cross between that and the Daily Show, kind of like it would just like we would take clips from Panelverse stuff and also from other YouTube streams and stuff like that, and just like introduce the clip, make a little joke about them, move on. It would just be like just kind of like it was kind of like a little bit of comedy and also kind of a catch up on like what happened in the Panelverse that week, just kind of like to just to kind of make the whole thing seem a little more manageable, I guess. I don't know. It was it was kind of I think it's kind of a fun idea anyway. But to do it on camera and everything like that, just like to do it in panel form, I think it'd be a lot more fun to do it if like we could record it as audio and then take it and attach like a VTuber type of like avatar. But I could make the VTubers, because I really all I have to do is like shade their faces down a lot and put a hat on them. I could even use like I could just all I have to do is like design them like a trench coat and because I want them to be like shadowy looking Fed agents, So
Okay.
It's gonna be called
Sounds good to me.
Fedcast. It's gonna be called Fedcast. So
Word. Well, like I said, my voice is still cash, so I'm not talking much today. Sorry.
it's all right, man.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
try.
that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, don't push your voice.
I
too
think
much, man.
Jeff
Like, that
likes
shit
laryngitis.
sucks. That shit sucks.
But
Anyway.
I'll talk about movies every once in a while if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, like we watched Stigmata last night. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, I forgot. And that AI movie.
Stigmata.
Yeah. But you fell asleep through most of it, so like you can't
I
really.
know, I
discuss it.
did. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, but with Stigmata was like this movie from the '90s about like some girl getting possessed by a dead priest or something like that. It's pretty decent. So it's a lot bit about the Catholic Church and stuff like that. Kind of inspired. I haven't watched any more of them yet, but it kind of inspired me to re-download a few other movies in that same genre. I've got The Ninth Gate. I got The Order with Heath Ledger. It's another good Catholic conspiracy movie. Like, I actually think the one with Heath Ledger is actually pretty damn decent. And have you guys ever seen, by the way, like that one inspired me to find another movie that I hadn't seen in a long time, because of the actress that's in both of them, Shannon Sossamon, and she doesn't really show up in stuff much anymore. But did you guys ever see the movie Rules of Attraction?
No.
I'm trying to think. Hang on. Is James Van Der Beek in that one?
Yeah, James Van Der Beek.
I think I used to have it on DVD. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. I hadn't seen. I started to watch.
I haven't seen it in years either.
I downloaded it and started to watch it last night. I was like, nah, I want to watch this with people because like this movie is so fucking good. Like it's just like
He's like a psychopath.
Yeah, but the whole thing is like it's shot and directed so well. Like the way it starts out with like this worst night of these three characters' lives and everything, and it keeps like going. It kind of follows one character and then it stops there. So like their worst moment, and then it starts and goes reverse until it finds the next character, and then it goes forward from there. And it does that like for all three characters, and then like it kind of like rewinds to like the beginning of the semester, and it's just got so many great filmmaking moments and stuff in it. I think it's just like it's got a great soundtrack too. I mean, it's got like fucking The Rapture on it. It's got I don't know. It's just a fucking good movie.
Welcome, Busker.
Hey, how you doing, Jeff? How's it going?
Hey, Baltimore, Busker.
Man, it's good to be at a panel where everybody's not fighting each other.
Oh, wow. Well,
that's because I have laryngitis.
Yeah, one has laryngitis.
I mean, like, just for the most part, every stream or panel I get on, it seems like people are fighting each other, and I just can't get a word in edgewise. Neither do I want to.
Oh, well, you definitely can on here. What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
You were talking 80s movies, and I just it sparked some memories. You ever seen a movie called River's Edge?
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey,
River's Edge.
I get that confused with The River. Who was in River's Edge?
Gary Busey. No, not Gary Busey. That's
It's got a bunch of young. That's the one bunch of the bunch of teenagers like in the murder thing, right?
It's got Keanu Reeves, Crispin
Yeah, Keanu Reeves.
Glover,
Yeah, there you go.
Dennis Hopper, Ione Sky. Yeah, like dude,
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, and it had some of the fucking most awesome one-liners, man. Like, I gotta say, they were funny one-liners out of that, and I wonder if Dennis Hopper was coming up with them on the fly, because he's just really crazy. I don't know. I don't know that any of the writers could write some of the stuff he was saying. Like, even like Gary Busey, when he's like in the movie Silver Bullet, he's like, "Holy, jumped a bald-headed Jesus Palomino." Now, I think that he probably came up with that. That sounds like Busey's mind. You know what I mean?
I just downloaded another 80s movie last night too that had Dennis Hopper in it. You ever seen Red Rock West? It's another good Dennis Hopper movie from the era.
Maybe.
It's a director named John Dahl that made he made a bunch of kind of like he made like Joyride, and he also directed a bunch of TV stuff. Like he directed a bunch of Breaking Bad and stuff like that. He's a really good director.
I haven't seen any of these movies.
Yeah, check
don't
out
think I have
River's
either.
Edge, man. That's a great 80s movies. I mean, it's kind of dumb, but it's kind of like edgy.
I will.
It
I
is.
put it on our list.
Yeah, River's Edge. I mean, like, that's definitely a winner as far as 80s movies with like a bunch of legends, you know. That, you know, like they weren't legends then, pretty well, except for Hopper. And that was like one of Keanu Reeves. I think that might have been maybe one of his first movies.
I remember from Bill and Ted, but I
Yeah.
think River's Edge might have come first.
No,
I
no.
thought that
I
was
think
90s.
I think Bill and Ted came first.
Yeah, that was 90s. Like the River's Edge was like 85 or 4 or something.
Yeah, it was
It
like
was
it was like
86.
one of his first big movies, I think.
Yeah, it was, and Bill and Ted was 89. Well, I
Yeah,
didn't realize it was that late.
You know what movie I really loved
Almost.
that I didn't expect to was that third Bill and Ted movie that came out like during the pandemic. That
What,
movie,
they had a
that
movie?
movie,
Oh man,
yeah, I loved it. I don't care what anybody thinks. I think I
Who was
loved it.
Who was in that?
The same
Was
guy,
it-
it was Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter played Bill and Ted, and it's about
Really?
them like, yeah,
Like now they're older. That's kind of funny.
it's about them getting
I didn't
older,
even
and
want
it's
to
about-
watch it.
It's I don't know, it's like in a really sweet kind of idealistic way. It's just like I don't know, it kind of touched me. I don't know, it made me feel good.
Like fan
It-
service or like what was it?
fan service, but not even really that. I mean, it doesn't do fan service the way you expect it to. It really, like, I don't know. I guess there are people that probably could see it as woke or something like that. But I mean, as a parent of daughters myself, it's about their daughters more than it is about them. Even though the daughters aren't really in it that much, but their daughters are both like these two girls that play the daughter of Bill and Ted. Both do such perfect impressions of Bill and Ted. It's kind of incredible. These two girls are doing like these really spot on Bill and Ted impressions. They don't act like girl bosses or anything like that. They just act like Bill and Ted just as girls. And it's just like, and like it makes light of a lot of the stuff, but like, I mean, I'm not going to give it away, but like it makes the movie more about like their family than it is about, like, you know, them. And it's really, I don't know, I found it strangely surprisingly beautiful. It ultimately, like, I found myself like tearing up at the end of it, and I had going into it. If you had told me that like a Bill and Ted movie was gonna put tears in my eyes, I would have laughed in your face. I would have thought, like, you know, that's like the last thing would ever happen. But like, no, I mean, it has like kind of a beautiful ending. The only problem with the ending is that it's kind of abrupt. It ends really abruptly, very suddenly, but it's still like a really, I don't know. It's a very life affirming type of movie. I don't know how to explain it. It's cool. I enjoyed it a lot, and I would recommend it to people. I have a hard time imagining how anybody could really like hate it, especially since it even brought back William Sadler playing Death. You know, from Bogus Journey. It even brings back Station. It brings back all the stuff from Bogus Journey, which I think, you know, I don't think is like necessarily that it goes to like it does all the fan service stuff. It hits all the points from the first movie. Bogus Journey, in my opinion, is one of the most creative, like amazing 80s or 90s movies ever made. I love that movie to death. I think that movie is brilliant. Like the whole concept of it, like the evil robot thems that like kill them and then they pants death and run away, and then they beat him, and what was the game they beat him in? They beat him in like Connect 4 or something like that. Or
Yeah.
They beat him in all the games.
Yeah, because they don't know how to play chess. So so he's like, fine, we'll play another game, and like they sink his battleship and everything.
Yeah.
Was that new Bill and Ted's? Now I gotta ask, was it like par for the course woke?
Mm-mm. I mean, I could see if you really wanted to like if you wanted to like take that right wing lens and be like, well, anything that changes anything, if anything that has like, but I mean, it didn't like swap Bill and Ted for women. It just has they have daughters, they have wives too.
No,
and like
that's cool. Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
But like, did they
Yeah.
like put a bunch of like self-hatred, self-flogging white people and like?
No. I mean, it
Yeah, the
addresses the
usual
fact that
stuff.
it addresses the fact that Bill and Ted, in some they go to like alternative like versions of future and stuff like that, where like they're kind of losers in this one, and this one they go to they end up in jail, and they're like they're all jacked bodybuilders, and there's like this kind of does like a bit of a multiverse thing a little bit, but not like anything too extreme. And it's silly. It's really silly. It doesn't take itself seriously. There's this assassin robot that's sent to kill them because the future thinks that Bill and Ted are going to somehow cause the end of all the time stream, and this robot is like super insecure for some reason, and it's just hilarious. Like
Is that
he's
on
like this really
the?
insecure assassin. He like blows something up, and he's like, oh no. Oh no!
Was that on one of the streaming services, or is that in the movie theater?
I have it on. If you guys want to watch it on Discord, I have.
Are you in our Discord server, Busker?
I've never really used Discord.
Okay.
I've heard about
Well,
it.
it's a good time to start.
Yeah, how do I latch on?
Well, we're gonna put a
think-
link in the private chat. You can join from there.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna put this link, and the link, if you're not on Discord, I think it takes you
To sign
to
up.
where you
Yeah.
need to go to sign up, and then you have to join the individual servers. And here's
Okay.
ours.
I'll put it on my maybe list for you, Chris. That's the best I can do.
That's okay. I mean, I just it's
Because,
very short. It's like 80. It's not even a full 90 minutes.
What
It's
else
very
do you have
short.
to do in your bunker? But watch movies all day.
Watch good movies.
Oh,
I
well,
only
he has a
spend my
point
time
there. I
watching
can't.
good
I
movies.
can't not defend.
I
him
mean,
now.
yeah. If you
So,
watch
Chris,
10 minutes of it, if you watch 10 minutes of it and you hate it, then stop watching. I mean, that's what I do. I mean, if
Yeah.
there's a
I'll
movie that,
just
like,
switch it off.
yeah, I mean that's what I do. If it's a movie that like I try my best to like give it a shot, but like if I'm 10, 20 minutes in and I'm just not sucked into it, like I'll just like turn it off. I'm not gonna waste. But I will a lot of times. A lot of times I'll just I'll end up ignoring it. But
So as a general rule of thumb, I stopped watching movies after like 2007 or 5, or I can't remember when it was. It was like kind of right when the woke stuff exploded. But so like even if there's possibly like a halfway decent movie, I probably didn't see it because I just don't watch any of the movies anymore. And so that's why I didn't even bother to see it. But I will put it on my maybe list, and I'll see if I have that much free time.
I'll just say this: it like the very first time I saw it, like I mean, I like the very end of it, and I mean like the very end is very abrupt, and it kind of that part kind of bothered me a little bit. I kind of wanted a little bit more of a wrap up to everything, but other than that, like honestly, it completely captures the spirit of the first two movies, and it kind of gives it a trilogy kind of like closure that I didn't expect from Bill and Ted. And like I said, like I didn't expect it to make me feel anything, and it did. It actually gave me like a sense of like, I don't know, there's something really beautiful about what they did with it. And I think that and it really like the fact that Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter have both are both obviously aged, and like they don't try to de-age them or anything. They look as old as they are. And the fact that they're dealing with like being fathers and having grown up and all this stuff like that, and it's about the fact that they're at the age they are, they're still trying to make it as big rock stars, and trying to write that's the basic premise. They're supposed to write the song that's supposed to unite the world, right? And they still haven't done it, and like so they feel this. I identify with the movie because like whenever you get to a certain age, and you feel like you had like this purpose in life earlier, and you haven't accomplished it yet, then you feel like this pressure from yourself or whatever to try to like do this thing before you get too old, kind of thing, and that's kind of what it taps into. And I personally found that to be very I don't know. It was very effective for me.
You mean like taking over the UN?
Taking over the UN? What?
What?
Never mind. It was a joke.
No, it's more like a rock and roll concert. So, Baltimore, if you want some angry debating, Hank can help you out.
I don't know what to debate.
Just pick a topic. He'll debate you.
This is a laid back Sunday stream. We're not here to debate.
Oh, okay. We're just chilling.
I
thought he said he's.
If I debated what I want to, that you'd probably get your channel taken down.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh no.
But I am curious what the topic would be.
Well,
yeah, what's the topic? I'm curious.
How about this? Instead of debating that, I'll explain why I was gone for a few minutes. So pretty much, I was following up Paul and Save's chat. Paul called me out. I decided to just go up there and answer for myself. And still, Officer Snaps doing his own, and the crew doing the same damn thing, making shit up to try to get my privileges removed because they're jealous and they're haters, and
but that's just drama, Hank. We're talking about
that all happened this morning.
No, it was just now. That's why I left here for a few minutes.
And you went there, and the drama happened, and now you came back.
The drama was already rolling. I was there stopping it. I was there stopping, and it's the same thing. They're making shit up. They don't have timestamps. They're just trying to say I said stuff I didn't say.
Man, it's wild out in those streets.
It's just normal day of Officer Snaps. He just makes shit up and helps people believe it so he can have his way. And he was trying to use leverage. I said I didn't like Paul's audience. I like Paul, but I didn't like his audience. And I was kind of part of the problem because I was following up the chat, fine with Officer Snaps, and Paul called me out and said, so I went up there because that's what you do when you're called off. You get his answer for yourself, but it's not good enough for Officer Snaps because he already decided what I was going to say. Because he thinks because I'm so-called a bitch ass slave, I'm his bitch ass slave, which it doesn't work that way. He's an idiot.
All right, well that's cool. But moving on, Hank. Tell us a good movie. Tell us a good movie from your perspective, Hank. I think that we had a much better conversation.
Can you put in the comments what
I don't watch Hollywood movies, Chris. How many times I tell you this? I haven't watched Hollywood movies in SOPA, so I don't know and probably don't care either.
Oh, you don't watch movies? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I haven't watched movies since SOPA, other than some pornographic stuff. But
why don't you watch? You don't watch movies since what again? Since
Stop Online Piracy Act 2010.
So just pirate them.
I don't want to give my energy to Hollywood when they don't want me to. They want to make it as hard as possible to watch their movies, so I want to give them the time of day.
All right.
I know my buddy got.
Hey, Baltimore.
I just
say
high seas.
Topic in comments so I can see it, since they want to talk about movies.
My buddy got one of them $250,000 fine.
That's because your buddy didn't know how to do it right.
He got one of them official welcome from the government.
I I have been sailing the high seas for somewhat going on 20 years now, and I've never gotten a single letter. So
Yeah, I told him he was stupid about it.
he probably
if you guys
used peer to peer.
Now, if you guys want to watch something that makes you think, it's a late 70s, early 80s movie. It's an animated movie called Wizard.
Oh, Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember
that was an awesome movie.
I like Ralph Bakshi's animation. Have you ever seen it? And it kind of in a related thing. Have you ever seen the documentary about Robert Crumb? It's a great movie too.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Decent.
I mean, just
I
a
remember
fascinating
a movie
documentary.
about a kid playing Super Mario Brothers 3, and he was called the Wizard. Is that the one you're talking about?
No.
Dude, I saw
This
that
is
movie
about-
in theaters when I was 8, and it has stuck with me ever since. Like I that movie like is burned into my brain. The Power Glove. It's so bad.
It
It's
was
so
about
bad.
a good wizard and an evil wizard.
Yeah.
No, I haven't
It's a
seen that
cartoon.
one yet. I'll check it out.
Well, we have
It's
a
dated,
Baltimore.
but it's good.
Yeah.
Baltimore, what is your controversial topic? Just say it or type it in comments or something, please.
Well,
Suspense is killing me.
if I talked about the past 4 years, I think I guess you know what I mean.
The coop.
Past 4
He's-
years.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
like,
talking about the coop.
I mean, like, there's a number of
Oh.
topics that are really, really important to me and like really pissed me off that I can't talk about them because I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Are you talking about like January 6th? Is that what you're saying? I don't
No,
understand.
I don't
no,
give a
the
shit
coup.
about
No, he's talking about the
I'm
19.
talking about BLM, COVID, and everything else that followed.
Well, we talk about BLM on here.
And we talk about
Yeah, we
19
talk
all the
about
time, too.
all that stuff all the time.
Dude, that they fucking ruined it for me, dude. They went down to Fells Point Boulevard,
Thank you.
where I went to Boston
Nah.
all the time, and they just had everybody in a big fight downtown, and then all of a sudden the bars started closing, and then they started shutting down. And nobody was coming downtown to Fells Point, where it was a big party strip, in Baltimore City near the harbor. And no more busking there. I mean, it's just like, you want to get mugged? Go down to Fells Point. Shit.
Oh, okay.
Well, man,
But yeah,
you're talking to a vaccine injury survivor myself. So
I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Shouldn't have never taken it.
well, I trusted my doctor.
Oh
and
man,
and
don't trust your doctor.
Which one did you
he's
take,
been a good
Chris?
doctor.
Entertainment show. So don't take any medical.
It doesn't.
ideas
I will.
from it.
I do not claim that it happens to everybody. I don't think that it
I'm
happened.
just
It was a
putting
specific
the
reaction with me.
disclaimer out there.
It obviously doesn't happen to
I'll
everybody.
tell you-
It happens to a whole fuckload of people.
Yeah, I mean, everybody else in my family had it, and they were all fine. So, like, it's
Yeah,
not
I
like
know.
it's not
All
like
my
it's not like I
relatives
think.
are fine. Although my father, he got the whole Moderna, the whole shebang. By the end of it, after the last booster, his leg blew up like a goddamn sausage because it was filled with blood clots. He was coughing up blood because he had blood clots
Damn.
in his lungs. And
My
they-
dad,
they-
had my dad had a stroke, but it was after he got COVID, after he got the vaccine. So
But like, I still have a gripe about all this shit to this day.
I don't know if
No,
it was
I-
the vaccine or COVID, but it wrecked my bronchitis. So, whatever that's worth.
my vertigo started the day I got the second shot. So I mean, I'm not saying that. I don't think that happens to everybody. I don't think that it's. I
Which
don't
one-
think that vaccines are evil.
Which version did you get, Chris?
I can't remember now, but I think
Pfizer,
it was probably-
Moderna, or
They're all
J&J?
bad,
It
dude.
was
They're all
probably
the
Moderna.
same. They're all the same. They all have bad side
Johnson
effects.
Johnson was not mRNA.
Yes, it was not
Whatever
the
the
same.
fuck it was, but Johnson & Johnson was pulled really early, right?
Yeah. For no reason really. It had
The
the lowest.
efficacy.
It had the lowest. It had the lowest the lowest incidence of side effects, but they pulled it. Yeah.
Yeah, it had the lowest efficacy rate.
Efficacy.
Yeah.
I think
But,
that's
I mean,
the word they
you know,
used.
Well,
that's the one I wanted. I wanted if I was going to get one, but they didn't have it available anywhere down here in Texas. They'd already pulled it. So,
dude, I was just.
I got both of the Moderna ones, but I didn't have any side effects. And then I got COVID like almost 2 years later, and COVID wrecked my bronchitis. So I think it's more COVID's fault than the vaccine.
I kind of feel like what happened with the vaccine. I think it kind of gave me long COVID. Is what I feel like it happened. I don't feel like it was really a vaccine side effect. I think I got.
You got long vaccine, brother.
Yeah, long vaccine, exactly.
Yep.
But yeah,
I don't know. I think
my
that's still.
My dad got the shot. I got that shot, and a year later he had a stroke, and he's like, and after he got COVID, went COVID in the hospital and had a stroke while he was there, and he's paralyzed from like his right side, and my grandfather died. So.
2 girls that I know got cancer right after their shots, like months after their shots, and developed cancers, and also pericarditis. Young women.
I'm not saying the vaccine is related to those things. I'm just saying that I think that COVID might have been responsible for them, but not. I don't think the vaccine was necessarily related.
Vaccines relate to a lot.
But the problem is nobody really knows which ones are side effects of the vaccine versus the coronavirus, because they both have their own set of symptoms.
Dude, you got to look. If you look at COVID and then look after COVID started kicking in, and look at all the people that got the injections, and look at all the people that kept dying after the injections from heart attacks. And that's my gripe. That's my main gripe, dude. I can't deal
You
with
can
it.
die from heart attacks from coronavirus, though. That's why you don't know which one caused it. You don't know if it's the vaccine or the coronavirus.
No, it's not the coronavirus, dude. Or, dude, if it's the coronavirus, whatever. It was kicked in by the goddamn... Dude, the little children are having heart attacks, dude, and dying on the field. Can you call that normal? And that's
I can't
not
call it a
bullshit.
vaccine or a virus because I'm not a medical
Dude,
doctor.
they're all vaccinated. Everybody was vaccinated. Children had to be vaccinated.
Easy, or you get Jeff a strike.
And
Yeah, I do agree with
and
That's why I said I didn't want to bring up my bullshit because.
Okay, we can't. You can talk about it on my video, my YouTube, and you can take down my stream. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't want to fuck with it.
Yeah, we'll change the topic.
I know medical misinformation gets strikes, so I don't want to.
Let's just say this. Let's just say this. Like, let's just push back on it, because that's the main thing. Is like if you platform it and you don't give any, we just have to say like to our knowledge, and according to the best scientific knowledge, vaccines don't have any significant number of side effects amongst most.
I don't make that claim for it at all. I don't make the claim that that's the best science.
Yeah, I don't have the.
And I clearly stated I am not a medical doctor.
I have to step away for about a minute. Can we not do any medical conversation at all?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, we can change the subject.
Chris, I'm going to
trust
you to keep it.
No, I don't even want to talk about this in the first place. It wasn't what I want to talk about.
I'll be right back.
Burn frog, great.
If nothing else, I don't want to talk about it because I've been talking about it. I've been talking about it for over a year now. I mean, that was one of the very first streams I did with Jeff was about that. So I mean, I've definitely said my piece about it. I am right now. I'm in the process of finally getting some help for my vertigo, and hopefully I'll actually have some answers soon. That's the
I hope
and it took me fighting through like a wall of doctors that didn't seem to give a shit or seem to want to actually test anything, but to actually get to one that actually did the test that they needed to do. But finally they did. So, I mean, there are doctors out there that can help. So,
did Dramamine help your vertigo or no?
No, Dramamine is useless. Meclizine useless. It doesn't do. I mean, it reduces symptoms by like 10% maybe, and then whenever it wears off, it comes back 10 times stronger. But they did like this. They did this weird test in the doctor's office the other day where like they blew like hot and cold air into my ears to like warm it up or cool it down, try to isolate like the way the inner ear, so they could like do scans on it. And the air ones didn't really work that well. But then they did this one where they put ice cold water in my ears, and in the left ear it according to hers, it was like an off the charts like response. So it showed like a really significant response that proves the vertigo thing. So like now I actually have diagnostic like information that shows that like yes, I have vertigo. It's not like, because for a long time they're like, well, we don't have any way to diagnose this, like, so we can't really prove that that your vertigo is real. You can't really prove it, this or that. And like now they have proof of it. So, and it also gives a path forward for
That's
recovery.
good.
So
Now you got evidence.
Yeah, man, vertigo
Hey,
sucks.
Jeff.
it does. It's hell.
It sucks. Yeah.
Is Lindsay one of your viewers or your audience?
Lindsay is my wife.
Chris's wife, Lindsay, or the Lindsay from Machine
No.
Guns channel?
Lindsay Smith, I think, is one of the
Oh yeah,
people that
not
appears
I
on
don't
As far
camera.
as I know, no.
Never
I
seen
mean,
her
I don't
in the
see her
chat.
name in the comments.
She's
often.
usually at Flows
Somebody else.
and TMLs, I think.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see
Yeah,
her
I
in
think
those
she's a
comments.
Flow TML viewer. So, just asking.
The other Lindsay, I think, is Chris's, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, that's my wife. Yeah.
Oh my
Lindsay-
God, Andrew Wilson and Jim Bob are on Benjamin Boyce.
Ah.
I don't know none of them names.
Oh, okay.
You know Andrew Wilson. Come on.
What,
No, I don't.
I know both of them, but I would never put the three of them together.
You don't
And
know who
Rollo
Andrew Wilson is, Chuck?
Tomasi. Huh?
No, I don't. I really
Oh.
don't.
He's where like half these people came from.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna step away for a minute. I may jump back on in a minute. So,
We'll probably wrap
Alright.
up soon
Bye.
anyway, because
All right, I've
Chris and I have a bunch of stuff to do.
You know, the other day I was watching a piece of news about Biden won the South Carolina primary for Democrat,
Ugh.
and he only had 120,000 votes.
Yeah, I know. And there was no one put up against him, right? Was there anybody else on the ballot? Because
I don't know.
To my knowledge, RFK went independent, and I think Marianne Williamson did too. So there's nobody else running against him on the Democratic ticket. So it's like, yeah, he obviously won the primary. Big whoop.
Yeah, but I was just talking about 100,000 people. That ain't very many votes.
It's not, but then again, if he's the only person, he's already presumed because he's the only person on the ballot, then why would people show up to vote for that?
Yeah, I don't know who it was that was running against him.
I don't think, as far as I know, there was no one running against Biden right now. There was at first RFK Jr. and Marianne Williamson were both running as Democratic candidates, and now I could be wrong. Marianne Williamson could still be on the ticket, but I don't know. I don't even know if like they're recognizing her candidacy for sure or not. I know that's the reason why RFK dropped out, because he went independent because they were not going to like basically put him on the ticket anywhere, so it didn't matter. So he went independent.
Is that Mary Ann woman the one that's like Talcott?
Yes, she's kind of like a crazy.
Yeah,
she's kind of a crazy
gotcha.
hippie lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind her so much because she's so like obviously crazy. I mean, I wouldn't want her running the country. I wouldn't want her running the country, but would it be worse than Biden? Probably not. She'd be even less effective than Biden, which means that she'd be even more of a puppet president than others. But I mean, that was the one most disappointing thing about Trump, is that like even though I was never a huge Trump fan, at least I didn't expect him to be such a puppet once he got in thing. I at least thought he would at least be like Reagan-esque in that sense, where like he would go against like what his advisors and everything were telling him. And because that's the one thing I like about Reagan, I did like about Reagan, is that Reagan kind of had his own ideas about things and he did what he wanted, kind of thing.
This isn't really pessimism, but the realism of it is I don't think we're ever going to have a good president.
No, probably not. Probably not again. I mean,
We never did have a good president.
Without extreme current political collapse, the extreme system collapse, and therefore massive reform coming from it. It would not, until we would pretty much like the GOP and the DNC would both have to basically implode to the degree where they basically don't exist anymore, and new parties would have to pop up in their place to replace them in order for like any real chance to come through. Because as long as the established GOP and DNC are in control, we're never going to have a great any kind of any real leader, any sense, and like they I mean, and I understand to a degree. I mean, first of all, anybody who wants to be president is fucking insane. Okay, like that's a job that nobody wants. I remember don't you remember when the Onion's headline when Obama got elected? It was the headline was America gives worst job to black man.
Oh my god.
That's one of the best. That's one of the best Biden. That's one of the best Onion headlines of all time. You know, it's true.
I'm surprised that didn't get pulled right away.
But I mean, is it? I mean, it's just true though. I mean, like it's like the worst job you could have in the country is to be president. I mean, you're only going to have it for 4 to maybe 8 years, and in that time, your whole fight is to like your first 4 years are fighting to make sure you get a second term, and then like once you get the second term, you're kind of useless because nobody gives a shit. So like it's this completely. It's this completely like facile kind of thing. It's just like it's like this big dog and pony show for like for like the advisors and all the lobbyists and everything that like just they run around do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean I could be wrong about that. Maybe the president has more control than I think he does. I haven't seen anything directly myself that makes me think otherwise.
I think all the rulers of the westernized society are controlled by much higher people that have much more power, much more money, and play them like puppets.
You ever see Mr. Robot?
Oh yeah, I watched all that. Like I really liked it the first couple seasons, and then it was kind of drifting a little bit.
Season four is the biggest letdown of my entire TV.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought also. Yeah.
Goddamn. Season 4 was so bad. It was so the antithesis of everything they built up to, and like its big ending idea just like it falls so flat. It makes so little sense. Like there was a clear direction the show was heading in, and then they took a 180 turn there in the last season, and it just ruins the whole series. I mean,
totally. It seems like that's more often than not. Like I don't know any show that ended good. I mean,
I think The Good Place pulls it off. I mean, Jeff didn't like the episode I showed him of it, but I think The Good Place actually has a really satisfying, great ending to it, it's a very high concept. The Good Place, yeah. It was a sitcom about the concept of the afterlife and about heaven and hell and stuff like that. And it's a comedy, but it's also really, really deeply steeped in moral philosophy. And it's a wacky sitcom about moral philosophers. From the guy that created The Office and Parks and Recreation. It's got Kristen, not Kristen
Slater.
No, Kristen Bell. It's got Kristen Bell in it. It's got Ted Danson in it, and like a lot of it is it's really high concept and really it's really the first season. If you watch it, like watch the first season, but don't expect too much in the first season. Don't expect like what you expecting when you watch the first season completely changes in the last episode of the first season, and then the show comes to something completely different, and it goes in a completely different direction, and then every season pretty much does a different direction from that, and it's really, really to me, I think it was one of the most special things that's ever been on television. I rank it up there with Community. It was my other favorite TV show of all time.
Is it called? You said it's called The Good Place.
The Good Place, yeah. It was on NBC for 4 years, yeah. But they gave it, yeah. And they allowed it to have a fully natural ending. They allowed it complete its arc. It didn't just get canceled in the middle of its run. It has a truly final ending that actually is kind of beautiful and really kind of special in terms of endings. There aren't many shows that pull off endings, though. You're right. Many shows like falter in that final act. I have my theories as to why Mr. Robot did, but I'd have to it'd be too many spoilers to go into to talk about that.
Yeah, there it seems like it's more often than not that it goes south, unfortunately.
I think political thing has gotten in the way of the direction they were heading very clearly in seasons 2 and 3.
Yeah, they always do that with like all television. They just
Well,
have
there
to
were-
throw in all kinds of left-wing garbage.
It wasn't even that though. It's like, I mean, it wasn't even like necessarily left wing. I mean, Democrats certainly, but you know the show, so you saw like the direction it was heading in season 3 and everything, and stuff with Angela and everything like that. Especially with like the weird, creepy, like Twin Peaks-ish scene, like whenever she was like in like the weird office thing, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Think about the implications of that scene and what it was and what that scene seemed to be pointing to, and then there was a long gap in between seasons 3 and 4, and in that gap, what happened? Pizzagate happened. The Pizzagate conspiracy thing
That's
happened.
right.
And so if you can see where the show was headed before that, and then you see when the Pizzagate thing became like the QAnon thing became all like thing, suddenly you can kind of see like why the show took a sudden hard turn away from everything that it had been pointing to.
Huh.
And I think that's what it was. I think it was that they didn't want to be associated with like the QAnon conspiracy people.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think they changed the entire direction of the show from that point forward, in order to avoid that comparison, and it ended up with like this like weird like tries to be feel good thing that's like doesn't make any sense, and like and God, all the and the way that it ends up incorporating the concept of child abuse into it is just disgusting and
Yeah, that was
completely,
weird, dude.
it's completely the antithesis, and it makes it's I'm sorry, there is people try to justify it, and they're like, no, it's totally set up in the show. It's not set up in the show at all. It is 100% not set up in the show. It is. I rewatched the show like 3 or 4 times trying to like come to terms with it, because it was my favorite TV show. Okay,
Me
this was
too,
a show,
man.
This was a show that I held up as the standard for all TV shows from that point forward. It was like my favorite TV show of all time. I thought that it was like on the level of like David Lynch work and stuff like that. I mean, I would have put it up against Twin Peaks. I would have like said it was like brilliant the way that it blended like its influences with like the anti-establishment stuff with like a self-awareness to it, and the way that it incorporated tech in a realistic way. It actually had technology from a realistic standpoint of like the dangers of it, plus also the advantages of it and things like that, and also mental illness and all these things that it blended all these ideas so perfectly and so well, and the acting was so great, and they're building up to this very clearly like where it's heading towards is very clear. And then it even seems like they had all the sets and everything. They didn't even repurpose. They didn't even change the sets or any of the settings. It seemed like they took the basic structure or whatever they had for season 4, and they just changed all the dialogue so it made kind of sense, but not really, because like the ending of that show makes no sense. It really doesn't. It makes 0 sense.
So they just kind of rewrote it, probably, or something.
They rewrote it to take all the Pizzagate-ish elements out of it, I think, is my opinion.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, dude, I agree. That was definitely my favorite show.
I mean, that's a conspiracy theory. It's not according to the actual creator. Just to be clear, that's not. I'm not trying to give it information. It's a theory of mine. It's a personal fan theory. The actual creator of the show, Sam Esmail, said that the season 4 plan was the plan from the very beginning. It was always intended to end that way. Even though he also said earlier on in his show that it was supposed to be a 5-season show, not a 4-season show. He said many things like that. He said a lot, and he also hinted at a lot of different things about the last season, what it was actually about, that don't match up with don't match up with the last season. But he did say explicitly in interviews that was always the way the show was supposed to end, and it was always supposed to be like that. So that is the official word on it, and I'm not saying that is wrong. It's probably right. It's probably in my head that I think that it was like that. But nonetheless, in my head, like my headcanon for the show cannot accept what the ultimate end of the show was, because the ultimate end of the show was complete fucking bullshit. Yes, Chopper Jeff, I'm talking about Mr. Robot. Did you like season 4? Come on, tell me how. If you do, please come on, tell me how I'm wrong about it, because I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear
When
somebody
did that
convince me
come
that season 4
out?
is good. Mr. Robot, it came out in.
It's
Yeah, I don't remember the years now.
15,
Yeah,
16.
24. Yeah, it came out between like 2013 and 2017 or something like that. There's 4 seasons of it.
Oh, okay. Well, I lost about 10 years from 10 years of surgery, so yeah, that was out of my league.
Anybody in these circles, in the Panelverse circles, ought to love Mr. Robot, at least the first season of it, because it's the most conspiracy-ish, like Paranoid. It's like a paranoid like conspiracy thriller from the 70s, kind of in the first season. It's completely like it's very tense and
What
it's very, but it grows into something else, and it's
worse
very
than the
very.
X Files?
Oh yeah, man! Like this takes the for me, I think it puts the X Files to shame. The first 3 seasons puts the X Files to shame in terms of like conspiracies and weird stuff like that. I mean,
Mm.
it's got such an air of mystery to it. It's very Twin Peaks. It's very David Lynch-ish. There's
Now,
scenes in it
Twin
that just
Peaks, I love Twin Peaks.
I remember like I downloaded the pilot of it whenever because it wasn't even a torrent thing, like they actually had it free to download, that they actually distributed it intentionally through torrent services because that was kind of part of their tech thing for the show, and they distributed the pilot like 3 or 4 months before the show came out, and like I downloaded it thinking like it was a show called Mr. Robot about hackers on the USA Network, and I was like, this will be hilarious. This is going to be the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. Right? This is going to be like Hackers, the movie, but for TV in today's age. And I watched that pilot episode, and instead I just like my mouth was just I got up at the end. I was just like,
Yeah, man. Like, and the fact that it was
I
on
can't even believe.
USA, the fact that it
Yeah.
was on USA Network was just like all the more surprising. I was just
best shot, most cinematically shot show I've ever seen. It looks more like a movie than any other TV show I've ever seen. It looks it's acted impeccably. The plotting is like fast and like and engaging. Like it's got so many great ideas in it, and it keeps that pace up through like 3 seasons, and then season 4 it just basically flushes all that down the toilet for like some. I mean, honestly, it's kind of woke bullshit.
Got a flat tire, did it?
Oh, it got it's like the season 4 is so bad that it makes me kind of like angry to think about it, because like
Well, you know they're remaking It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart.
no, that's actually even the slasher film version of it. They just made that. It's called It's a Wonderful Night.
No. They're coming out with a woke version.
I
Disney.
figured that's what I knew you were going to say that.
Oh
Yep.
my God.
I knew it.
What did you need? What do you need to make? I mean, it's already pretty woke. I mean, it's not even like there's nothing that's anti-woke about that movie. What's wrong with like It's a Wonderful? I don't even like It's a Wonderful Life that much, but like I mean, can't think of anything about it that would have to be like seen through a woke lens. What
I know it was a clean, decent movie.
No, he's talking like 2020s onward woke. That's not.
So we're talking. So like it's instead it's gotta be like a lesbian couple, that kind of thing.
Well, they're doing it. They're making it right now, or getting ready to.
Yeah, but hey, did you guys ever see? Did you see Black Mirror?
Yeah. Real fast before we go into Black Mirror, I do want to talk about Black Mirror. But real fast before we go into that, I will say though, I do believe though, if you're going to remake something, you might as well remake it a radically different way. Especially if the movie was good in the first place, you might as well try your own thing with it. It's not going to ruin the original. I don't care what anybody says. Like I don't think that Hollywood ruins the original movies when they remake these bad ones. They just make bad versions of them. Occasionally, every now and then, like there was that Drew Barrymore version of Cinderella called Ever After. That one was good. Like occasionally you can do a radical reimagining of something that actually works. I'm not saying that this woke version of this is going to be good, but I do support that more than trying to make like a frame for frame remake of like an old movie, like with worse actors or whatever like that.
Yeah.
I don't, because I see no point. If you're going to remake a movie, you should remake a bad one. A bad one with a good concept. You should take a bad movie with a good concept and try to make it work, right? And as opposed to what they usually do is like take great movies from the past, they try to remake them with like lesser actors and effects and stuff like that, and it usually just like it's just disappointing to see. Like RoboCop was like that, or what was it? Not True Lies. What was the Total Recall? Like that Total Recall remake that was terrible. Like it was just like boring and like it made no sense. And like I prefer it whenever like they do a radical reimagining of the material than they do when they just kind of like The Lion King. They just like remade The Lion King but with like realistic animals and like that can emote. So yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings of that. I don't think there's anything wrong with remaking things, but I think if you're going to remake it, it should have a different perspective. It should be something. You should do something different with it. I would rather prefer it not be a woke version, but at the same time, better that than just remaking a boring ass version of the original. So, but what are you gonna say about Black Mirror, Busker?
Like that like some of them were pretty edgy, man. Like I thought,
Oh,
like
Black Mirror's great, man.
yeah, like I think maybe towards their last season they had, I think it was getting kind of goofy.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, but the
like,
early seasons, White Bear is still like
oh
is like
yeah, man, the early
that's just
season.
that even forget the twist in White Bear. That whole premise and setup, the whole episode up until the twist is just such a white knuckle thriller. It's
Yeah,
just it's so like engrossing and like and fascinating to watch. Like the twist itself is kind of like whatever, but the actual like episode is so good. The same thing with like the one about the robot dog. Like that was
yeah.
great.
And,
That was
and
great.
like it's so funny that like Boston Dynamics or whatever is making.
Well, yeah, that's what it was based on. Like they did
That's-
it. They did it because
It's
of
kind
that.
of funny.
I love Charlie Booker though. I think Charlie Booker is like one of like the best. I don't understand why he doesn't get more work because he has done. He did a Jeff. He did a he did Jeff Booker in the U.S. In Britain. He did a parody of Big Brother Britain called Dead Set, I think it's called, and it's about like it's literally like it's Big Brother. It's Big Brother, but then like there's a zombie outbreak outside, and it's like people in the Big Brother house have to like contend
Oh
with
yeah, I think you
zombies.
told me about it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's a parody of Big Brother and also a zombie film at the same time. Yeah, and he also did this. He did this his great like list video thing a long time ago called like the 100 greatest video games of all time, and like. It's impossible to find, so you won't be able to find it anywhere anymore. But like the big twist of it was that like the whole point of the whole thing it led up to the number one video game of all time, and his number one video game of all time was Twitter.
Did you see that Sam Esmail flick that just came out with?
Oh god, it was so bad.
Yeah, like I had more hopes for it, but it was just like so like divide and conquer esque kind of shit, you know, black and
I mean,
white.
I didn't even mind it in terms of like I mean, okay, yeah, it had a lot of woke shit in it that I didn't like, but at the same time, like that wasn't even what bothered me about it. It was bothering me that it was boring. It was a boring movie about boring people where nothing much really happens, and then like it gets to the end of it, it just kind of ends, and you're just like, so. Like what was I supposed to get out of that? What was I supposed to get out of this movie? Like I mean,
like it ends with the Friends theme song. It's just like, okay, man.
That would have been a cute twist if the movie leading up to that had been better. You know, in season 2, he did the Alf thing of Mr. Robot. You know, he clearly has an affection for classic television and stuff like that. So I can understand like I can understand that as that being the ending if the ending earned that. The ending did not earn that at all.
No, it didn't.
It didn't. It does not earn that in any sense. And like I just don't like. I mean, it just feels like it just kind of meanders around for like an hour and a half, and then it just kind of like, okay, we're done. And like it doesn't. It makes no real points. It makes no real like thing except the fact that people might be a little racist sometimes. But then ultimately they're all good people and they get along together because everyone's really the same on the inside. And I can appreciate some of that if it was done better, but like I thought the acting was stiff. I mean, I was not impressed with I liked Ethan Hawke in it, but I did not like Julia Roberts in it. I did not think she did a good job. But she did a great job. He did a series for Amazon called Homecoming, the first season of it, and she was great in it actually. It was based on a podcast that I had listened to back when I used to work for Amazon, when I used to like have an earpiece in and I'd listen to podcasts all night, and it was a fictional podcast called Homecoming, and it was really good. Another podcast that got turned into a series that no one really saw because it was on Facebook, whatever Facebook's video platform was they used to have for a while, Facebook TV or something like that. There was a show called Limetown that they've adapted from a podcast. It's actually pretty good. It has Jessica Biel of all people in it, but it's actually pretty decent. It translates the podcast pretty well. But yeah, I really was like really disappointed with that. He has a feature film that came out before Mr. Robot called Comet, and it's not great, but it's at least interesting. It's at least a kind of a fascinating little like art experiment. It's worth watching if you come across it. I think it's on my server though. If you want to watch it, you just let me know and we can play it on the Discord. It's hard to find.
Do you want to go start our shows?
Yeah, we can start the mole. I don't think it's see what the time is. It's unlikely that True Detective will be up yet.
Hey.
So
Hey Jeff.
hey, bye. Let's go, man.
Are you able to do it now? Disconnect it now?
Hey Jeff, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you
Disconnect
hear
what
me?
now?
Yeah. Or hold on a second. Let me. So just
You
a
see it
little
up in
quick
the-
feedback. When you do the StreamYard connection, it's like pretty smooth and easy, and it like automatically downloads it to your YouTube channel. The problem is like even if I leave, it keeps the stream going to my YouTube channel. You know what I mean?
You have to disconnect it.
I can't. There's
Yeah.
no button that says disconnect. It won't let
Is there
you.
one at the top right? Do you see your channel with the eye?
In StreamYard? In StreamYard, there should be a
StreamYard.
it should be in the stream up there.
There's a remove. Is that the one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
try
remove.
that
Yeah.
and see if it stops it.
Okay, a post was created.
I
Delete.